So I'm watching the UFC the other day, because it's one of the few things I like to do, man. You know, you get two guys in a cage beating the shit out of each other. Dusty's there, man. I love me some UFC. So I'm watching this shit the other day, and there's this guy. And he doesn't have a neck, because he's so muscled up. And he literally destroys his opponent. He shatters his opponent's orbital bone, and he leaves him in a heap in the middle of the ring, just bloody and unconscious. And then Joe Rogan comes in the ring to interview him like he does after the fights. And on this dude's shorts, I noticed that he has a picture of Jesus on the cross. But the really fucked up part is, next to the picture of Jesus being crucified, there was this text. And the text said, Jesus didn't tap. And if you don't know, tapping is where when you're getting beat up in the UFC and you want to quit, you just tap out. So the text above Jesus' crucifixion says, Jesus didn't tap. But there's a picture of him nailed to the cross. He couldn't tap because he was nailed, dude. Surely you guys can see this, you know. Tapping was not an option for a crucified Jesus. It wasn't. You know, I'm pretty sure if the Romans would have given him the option of tapping, if they would have said, hey, Jesus, you know what? We're about to crucify you. We're going to nail your hands and feet to that cross over there. And then maybe later we're going to stab you in the side with a spear. But if you'll tap out, we'll let you go. I bet you anything that Jesus would have tapped out like a little bitch, man. I know I would have, hells yeah. I'd have been tapping out like a motherfucker. And that's what Jesus would have been doing, okay? But he didn't get that option. And then Joe Rogan interviews the guy, and the very first words out of the guy's mouth is, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ for this victory. Because if it wasn't for Jesus Christ, I could not have done this. All things are possible through him, Jesus Christ, and he is my Lord and Savior, and I love me some Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, while he's thanking Jesus, the camera happens to pan past him, and you can see his opponent laying in a bloody mess on the canvas. And of course, I'm thinking to myself, really, dude? Really? You're really gonna give Jesus credit for this? You really think Jesus was involved in you maiming your opponent? You just shattered the guy's orbital bone. You really think Jesus was here having a hand in that? That's what you really think. I just want to clarify, dude. I just want to clarify. That's really what you think? Because let me tell you something. If Jesus really was on your side, if Jesus really did help you win this fight, there's a word for that, and that word is cheating. When a supernatural being interferes in a fight and helps you win, that's cheating. I mean, how can that not be worse than steroids, man? That's definitely an advantage over steroids. With an all-powerful, all-knowing, omniscient being on your side, you would win 100% of the time, no matter what happens. And that is cheating. So look, if this really did happen, if you really do believe that Jesus came down from heaven and helped you beat your motherfucking opponent into submission, you're a cheater. You have to acknowledge that, because it is the truth. That is the only logical conclusion. And on top of that, I have another question for you. If Jesus is on your side, why did you even bother training for the fight? You could have sat on your couch, watching TV, eating ice cream and Doritos while your big fat lard ass got so big you could barely shuttle your ass into the ring, and you still would have fucking won if Jesus is on your side, right? I mean, think about this. Let's be honest. Don't you think that those thousands and thousands of sit-ups you did, all that bag work you did, all the hours of sparring you did, shaping your body into a deadly weapon of fierce violence, don't you think that might have had a little bit to do with why you won? So come on, be honest. Aren't you guys just talking out your ass when you say shit like that? You know Jesus ain't got nothing to fucking do with it. You know, during the time it took you to have that fight, at least 10 children died of starvation. 10 children! So what you're saying is, Jesus didn't help any of those fucking starving children. Jesus didn't help the women that are getting raped in this world right now. No, according to you, instead of helping any of those people, Jesus decided to come down from heaven and help you to pulverize your opponent. That is what you're literally saying here. So cut that shit out, athletes. Because when you do that, it makes you look like an imbecilic, stupid, cheating asshole. Logic.
It's not too late. It's not too late. When it's time to judge my soul, when it's time to pay that toll, I know that it